Good evening, my brothers and sisters, and it is Joe Honey back with another motherfucking The Virgo series, okay? Let me turn my little sleep music off. I was just about to go to bed, y'all, and something said no. Do another video. I was gonna wait a couple of days, but something said no. Go do another video because the people need to hear this truth. But anyway, as y'all see, I got on my bonnet, my house robe, my pajamas as usual, and I'm comfortable. And this is how you're going to get the most pure answers out of me, is when I'm at my most best comfort zone. So here we are. I'm in bed. I'm comfortable. And I'm ready to talk. And today, the topic, I'm pretty sure you've seen in the description, is the Virgo woman versus the Taurus man. Yes, we're going to talk about this because you know what? It's one of those by the book relationships, you know what I'm saying? They said it's like the best perfect match with you. And I'm here to dispute that. I'm here to tell the truth based off my experience, baby. So let's go. First and foremost, I'm going to be honest. You know what I'm saying? The Taurus, we're going to talk about them first. The Taurus man is a very emotional sign. Oh my God. Like, that can be a problem with the Virgo. The Taurus, their sign, their symbol is the bull, right? And for those who understand the bull, you guys seen like on TV how the people get in the ring with them with the red rag and they flash it. And these bulls run towards them and they just ram into things. That is a true definition of a Taurus. They see their target and they go for it. This goes for work. This goes for school. This goes for everything. If they want something, they're going to go for it. That's one thing I will give them props on for sure. Okay? But most importantly, Taurus men, they're known for this, especially when they're frustrated or they have something going on in their life. This is how they handle all things in their life. And it can be a problem for the Virgo. The Virgo being the maiden, she's more nurturing and caring and likes to see the beauty in things. And at some point in time, yes, she will be able to accept this, emotional character for who they are, but it'll begin to bore her because it'll always be expected. This person she knows is emotional and has these big, I guess you can say temper tantrums, and they have to be calmed down and then they're fine. That is something that the Virgo doesn't need to get used to. So in order for this relationship to work, this Taurus has to have already learned to balance their emotional imbalances. I will say it, okay? Virgo don't like all that shit. We don't want nobody more emotional than us. You know what I'm saying? They're both in the earth sign group with the Capricorn. All three love to be dominant individuals within a relationship, within their careers. They're dominant characters. So sometimes in relationships that can be like, a plus in it. Sometimes it can be gimmicky. Because unfortunately it will work against itself. Those are two characteristics that can work against themselves. If you both want to be in control of things and dominate things and there's no true understanding, you'll just be all over the place. And before you know it, you're going to bump heads. I've had 3 adult fights in my life as a Virgo, and I will say they was all with a fucking Taurus. 1 female, 2 males. Yes, we ain't gonna talk about that today, but I've had it with them, and it was all because all 3 of them could not control their emotions. The Virgo can be insensitive with the things that they say because we're very honest, the ones that are honest. Because as I said in the previous video, every sign is different. It all depends on how they're raised, who they're raised by, and, where they grew up, things of that sort. The rising and moon sign, all that. Me personally, I have a ascending Aries and a moon Sagittarius. So I'm very fiery. So the Taurus, immediately, I lit them on fire with whatever I say. Same thing with Gemini too, but we're not talking about them today. But with Taurus, me personally, I have always lit them on fire. When I was younger, I was able to get along with them more. But as I'm developing as a more of a, I guess you can say a dominant Virgo character in my life, I don't know, I will say that I cannot tolerate them as much. They're the type of people that go on a tangent when they're upset. They just go off and they do erratic things that just don't make any fucking sense. The Virgo being a very cautious sign. Like, this is not the person that's going to go and bungee jump off a cliff with the 50-50 chance of dying or making it. Like, but the Taurus will do that. And so those type of spontaneous people don't really work well for the Virgo woman. You understand what I'm saying? And I guess you guys can see where I'm going with this video. This is not a good pair. Now, sex-wise, this is why it makes it even worse of a horrible pair. The sex is amazing, of course. The Virgo falls in love with this type of bull in the bedroom, right? She enjoys it. And it becomes, unfortunately, the blinded thing that keeps her with him. And the only thing that they can really reconnect with. Because, yeah, the conversation can be, yeah, if it's there, but if it's not, it's not, you know? And the Taurus is like his opposite, the Scorpio. They're sexual beings. They live by sex. It's necessary for them. It's how another way that they express themselves and get their point across, or, you know, just in general, this disparate energy. I will say that. But that's not the only thing, Virgo, that you want in common with this person. And a lot of times you will find that that's the only thing that you're going to have in common with this person is sex. Especially if they're not at an emotional state and you're not at that nurturing state in order to be that support for them. Now, I'm not saying all Taurus men are emotional, but all Taurus men have been known to be the type of individuals to have their tangents, to flip the fuck out and have no true meaning in behind it. And it's really hard for Virgo to develop into that. I'm a pretty tough girl, but I would say most Virgos are not tough. When like they can't handle the arguments of fighting, they'll cry. They'll go in a corner, they'll walk away, they won't even want to deal with them. And so the Taurus aggressive nature can sometimes break the free-spirited Virgo's, personality somewhat. And it can cause a problem. The Taurus is also very dominant just as much as a Virgo, but a little bit more. They like to control their mate. They want their mate to do the things that in which it is that they wanted them to do. And Virgo's a free-spirited. She wants to do as she pleases, how she pleases, when she pleases. She's like a little butterfly. And, flying around, spreading her wings. That's who she is. The bull, imagine a butterfly flying and the bull trying to catch it. It's a problem for them. They don't got time. And when they do catch it, they end up hurting it and hitting and, latching onto it to where they cause damage, and that's where I was saying, like, there's going to be that friction and Virgo will, of course, go astray, but they're going to pull them back. And during the process, it's going to hurt the Virgo in a way. The Taurus also has a very sharp tongue. Virgo does as well, too. Two wrongs don't make a right. So that is a stage that you guys are going to have to get over. Unless, this Taurus has like a Capricorn rising in a Virgo moon. It just really depends on the person. But most Taurus men are very emotional when they're younger. Now, I'm 25. I haven't had much experience. My first was a Taurus. And I learned a lot of bullshit from him. But that bullshit that he taught me, he said it himself. He said, everything you learn from me is going to prepare you for any man you ever come in contact with. And he was fucking right. Because I've never expected more out of a man after him. That's one thing he taught me. He prepared me in ways for men that I never understand. So yes, the sex, let's scale it out now. Let's scale it out. Sex, I'm gonna rate it a good, you're gonna get a good 8 out of 10 out of this sexual relationship. And I'm taking 2 points away because that's really all you guys are gonna have in common. Unless there is common ground from the beginning. The expenses, we haven't spoken about that. And let's talk about the finances first, not the personal expenses. Finances. Taurus, they are one of those type of people who can be selfish with money. So in a relationship, these people don't always work out early on because they're too busy worried about themselves. And then so if these two individuals actually live on their own, they have their own financial situations, this could actually work in a real dating relationship, or standard where you guys live separate and your lifestyle separate, so it works out. But in a marriage, this could be a problem because Virgo will notice the extensive spending and buying of excessive shit of the Taurus man and say, I don't want my money going down a drain. She's going to open up an extra bank account. She's going to start saving her money and acting like she ain't got no money. And then he's going to feel like she's being selfish as much as he would be. See, the Taurus doesn't want his woman to do the things that it is that he does. He wants her to stay pure and remain pure. He likes good girls. But unfortunately, the one thing that the Taurus fails to realize is that, any woman being with you that's good is going to turn bad when she's done. A woman learns everything that they know through the man that they deal with in their life, whether it's their father, their uncles, their brothers, their cousins, then ex-boyfriends, boyfriends, things of that sort, guys that they date. We learn men through the men that we deal with. And so everything that they show us, we take note of. From what I've seen, Taurus men always get bad reviews. I hate to say it because I've met some pretty decent Taurus men. But I think it all has a lot behind to do with the fact that they're just one of those men that bloom pretty late. They're similar to Capricorn in that predicament. They bloom later than others. And so they're not really ready for love and relationships until later. They're gonna go around hurting a lot of people until they make a decision. And this is not just my personal aspect with my child's father, my ex-fiance. This has a lot to do with all the Taurus I've dealt with. And I have a lot of Taurus around me, family, friendships. They all pretty much make the same mistakes. And I find a lot of them in the end, they enjoy just being by themselves. They find it a safer route, which is cool, but I feel like they shortcome themselves when they do that. You can grow and be just as good as you are by yourself with someone else, if not better. There's nothing wrong with being with someone, but I think they're afraid of getting hurt. Like I said, they're very sensitive beings, believe it or not. And that's why sometimes the Taurus, they confine in the Cancer because they're just as emotionally, bound as they are. What are other signs that Taurus take into consideration of a friendship? That's the only one I really noticed where they both are like very emotional beings. And so they enjoy the presence of each other. You'll notice too, a lot of Taurus don't like other Taurus, which is stupid, but a lot of them don't like each other because they're both the same. Not the case with Virgo. Virgos love other Virgos because when we find out who they are and how they are, we realize I like this bitch because she just like me. She see things through life like me. She handles things like me. I gotta respect her. But that's not the case with Taurus. Taurus look at it as I guess y'all gonna be fighting for attention now. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak all bad about the Taurus. Taurus have great aspects about themselves. When they do work hard, they work hard. When they stay focused, they stay focused. They get the job done. And they can be good mates, but it takes time to grow up. They really have to grow up. Every single Taurus I have in my life right now is so childish. The women, the men. I know we just talking about the men and the Virgo woman, but I will say from personal experience, Taurus men are out of here with their bullshit. It takes time to get over it. And then, believe it or not, if ladies who's watching this, even if you're not a Virgo and you dated a Taurus, I'll tell you right now, at some point in time, he's going to apologize. Whatever it is that he's done to you, he's going to apologize to you for it. So don't feel like shit, I feel like shit. And just hurting from that relationship. He was more than likely hurting too. And it's going to take time for him to grow. Okay, now let's discuss the personal expenses. Like I said, the Taurus can be real selfish. So personal expenses wise, you have to be careful with these individuals. Don't let them know too much of your business. Any relationship you in, don't let them know too much. This is the type of person you cannot rely on if you ever need any help. That's for anybody dating them. Don't depend on them because a lot of times they don't have their financial situations in order. They can though. When they get it in order, they'll keep it in order. But it'll be the smallest thing to throw them off. They have a car fetish and they want to buy this car that they seen everybody else had. They want to buy it and spend all this money into this car and ruin it and then have to put more money into it when they could have probably bought 3 cars by the time they're done working on this one junk car. They have the things that they do that causes, unfortunately, frictions in between their relationship when it comes to personal expenses. They make these type of financial decisions not realizing it affects the household that they live in and the relationships that they're in. So Taurus, personal experiences, Virgos, keep that shit separate. Even in marriage, I would keep it separate. The Virgo isn't going to like his spending habits. He is not going to like her spending habits. He's going to feel like the shit she spent her money on is ridiculous. Relationship-wise, money, keep it separate. It's not the relationship where you can trust each other enough to put all the money in one bank account, okay? We went over compatibility. By the book, these people are compatible. But like I said, it has a lot to do with their moon, their rising, who they were raised by, where they grew up at. From my personal experience, I think that these people are very compatible when they're older, when they hit 40, 45, 50, when they've been through their 20s and 30s and have gone over all these bridge gaps. I believe that this relationship can be successful in the end, and I will give this like a 9 out of 10 later down the line. But it's going to take a whole lot of hitting rock bottom, arguing, fighting, and all that shit in order for it to get like that. And to begin, I would give it like a 6.5. I hate to say it, but this is an earth sign, a fellow earth sign of mine. And I know that the earth signs together can be kind of, intense. And I know for a fact that this is a relationship that can be pretty sticky, being that the Taurus man is just as dominant as a woman. When fights and arguments take place, this Taurus is going to want to take the stage and say whatever the fuck it is they got to say. And if they got to call you out your name, tell you to shut up in order for them to get their point across, they will do it. And Virgo, you're not going to like this. It's something that you're not going to like about this person. As a friend, dating them, go for it. As long as it's not nothing to where like y'all spending too much time together, spend enough time together, short amount of time together, really build this relationship. You guys have to know what's at each other's off. Like, it's not like the Libra and the Virgo. The Libra and the Virgo is different. That Libra and that motherfucking Virgo, let me tell you something. When they have problems, they know how to adapt to the environment. I cannot say this for Taurus because Taurus can be very fucking stubborn, and they don't want to adapt to the environments of change. They don't believe in it. And Virgo, you need real support. So this is something that you guys have to deal with very early on. It's a lot of problems you're going to have to deal with early on. But longevity-wise, I think this can be a strong bond. But it has a lot of criticism from the begin because of how things start with typical signs like Taurus man and then the Virgo woman. And then them both being young and being self-centered. It's going to take some time. But yeah, longevity, I would give it a good 9 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10, okay? So, we went over everything. Any advice that I may have for the sign? The groups together. I don't know. This is one of those real, it's advice I would say. It's one of those, man. You got to be careful. Advice I would definitely say, work on it. This is a continuous project. If you like, adventure and learning and growing with your partner, this will be a great relationship with you. If you don't want the bumpy roads and you like more one of them rhythm and blues Virgos and who really just want things to be like common ground in their relationships from the rip, don't expect that. You're not going to like this relationship. But if you're willing to really build a relationship, a bond with someone, and you're willing to go through the turns and rifts and turns, because the Taurus, they go through a lot of bumps throughout the road. They just do. They're one of those people who just go through a lot of bumps throughout their life because, they're young and they learn differently. They learn from their mistakes. And whereas some people learn from others' mistakes, they actually have to go through whatever it is that they want to learn from in order to actually learn from it. You know what I'm saying? They're not the person you could tell, don't do that. Don't touch that fire because you're going to fuck around and get burnt. You tell the Taurus that, they're going to say, I want to see anyway. Just because you tell me don't mean I got to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to go through the rips and runs. And Virgo, you might get tired of it. You're going to get tired of carrying them emotionally, physically, financially. So this might not work for you out in the beginning. You guys might go through the risks and runs, but in the end, that might be ultimately the person that you end up with if you believe in, history. I'm not that Virgo that believes in history. I don't give a fuck about history, Fuck the history. What about the present? That's all I am. But I found some Virgos are okay with it. And I've seen some Virgos really succeed in his relationships. But it has a lot to do in the end. Virgo, in order for it to be successful, I see a lot of Virgos are the ones carrying the relationships. It's not the Taurus that's carrying the relationship. It's the Virgo. So, yeah. Expect to have to always keep shit in order, keep shit in line in order for this to be a successful relationship. Other than that, no advice. It's just something you got to think about, sweetheart. And then remember, what type of sign y'all who was raised by. Do your research and see how it works out for you. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. How you feel, even your personal experiences. I want to hear y'all's too. Don't just listen to mine. I want to hear everybody's, okay? Send it my way, Send it my way. But like I said, Taurus, y'all issues, Virgo, her issues, it can be a problem, but it can be worked around. This is a real relationship that's going to have to be built from the bottom all the way to the top. Y'all gonna fall a couple down, actually. A couple times y'all gonna get down, y'all gonna fall, but y'all gonna have to be willing to fight back up that ladder of success. And if you're willing to do it, that's fine. Hope y'all like this video and enjoy.